Hey, what's going on, everybody? Mr. Richard here. Welcome to the Rich Get Richard. And today we have a testimony. I have a student of mine, Mr. Antoine, and he was working on this deal for a while, and it finally paid off. We're going to talk about the how we structured the deal. We're going to talk about his ins and outs, and we're going to talk a little bit about the deal itself and how he went about it and why did he do it. So, Mr. Antoine, introduce yourself.
All right, so I'm Antoine Martin. I've been in the program since June of last year, so just over a year. Um, the community has been really good as far as education and getting you ready to either purchase a business or buy real estate, um, or whatever you're looking to do to upgrade yourself. And also, people in the community are good at helping you as well, answer questions, even when Mr. Rich is not available as well. But it's a great community. Um, I first got introduced to purchasing this real estate property. The first thing you want to do is educate yourself. Everything Mr. Rich is telling you to do, pretty much take his advice, listen to the videos. Like he said, it answers pretty much 95% of the questions that you're going to ask. The videos are pretty long. You do have to take notes and you do have to take it like step by step. But the first thing you want to do is get educated on what you need to do first. The first thing I did was get educated on the videos, start your LLC. You want to make sure the LLC is in um, a good name for your LLC, something that's like general. You want to make sure your credit's good. Also, you want to build your business credit as well. Um, Also, you want to ask questions with um, from the other members in the group and just get some feedback. Also, you want to make sure you build up your capital in order to purchase a business as well. And also, you got to have a determination and a mindset that you're going to pursue what you're going to pursue. Um, I wouldn't take advice for anyone that's not successful or doesn't have any like a business mindset. If you talk to people that are like stuck in their little ways and they don't think big like you, if you tell them what you want to do, they say you're crazy or why would you want to buy that property? Um, you got to hunt people down for rent money and just they just don't have the mindset. So you be careful who you share your dreams with because they might try to, shut that down. But as far as going about getting the property, um, I originally got into this um, group because I wanted to get a business that was existing. So I was looking to take over a business that pretty much the baby boomers were getting rid of and something that was successful, but I couldn't really find anything. And I came across an opportunity. Um, I heard they were selling a commercial real estate and it was fully leased with the tenants, and they had leases for 5 years. And the owner, it's an older gentleman, and he was getting rid of one of his real estate properties. He had multi real estate properties throughout the city, and this is just one of his smaller ones. And he was just looking for someone to take it off his hands. They tried to sell the business to a few other people, but they just didn't have the capital to get it. So that fell through. So it was just a long process of getting the capital and getting everything in line to buy the business. I know I reached out to Mr. Rich a couple of times. Um, he put me on with a few lenders. Um, that didn't work, but he did have um, he did, recommend some people. But you're going to go through a lot of trials and tribulations when you're first doing something like this. And I learned a lot in the process. Now, when I go to buy my next business, I know exactly what to look for. I know there was a lot of things I would have done different, but I'm glad I did go through this process from scratch because now I know exactly what to do next.
All right.
So,
You kind of said some things. Let me touch on some things. One, you said is You need to be surrounded by like-minded people because you can't share your idea with small-minded people. And that's one of the reasons I started this community or have this community because we all here don't ever shun or ostracize or criticize anybody's idea. If you want to do something, we have your back. You say something and it's like, try this, do this. What about this? What about this? How about this? How about this? Nobody's gonna say, "Oh man, that's stupid. That's dumb." Like, even if it's something I wouldn't necessarily agree with, I will at least tell you, "Hey, that's not my thing," or "Hey, I don't know about that." But hey, let's hit it this way. If I'm gonna do it, let's at least hit it this way. Okay, and then something else too is I always tell people to become an opportunist. Leave yourself open to opportunity because you never know what's going to happen. That's why I never try to tell anybody to focus on any specific thing. Because when you focus on specific things, you can kind of get like blinders on. Like, hey, I only want this type of business, or I only want this type of real estate, or I only want this type of investment. Don't do that. Go into every situation with your brain and your mind open. Right? You said you came in here and I wanted to buy a company, but opportunity presented itself in a commercial building, in a commercial piece of real estate. So I'm going to pivot. And things might not be popping over here, but this is working. The numbers make sense. I got the capital, the cash flow works, and let's go for it. Right.
Right.
And then I remember you was talking about the deal, and I was like, man, I don't know. At first, I couldn't really grasp it, and then you started giving me some more numbers. I remember that too. You kept giving me more numbers and more detail about it. I was like, okay, man, maybe this can work. Let's get some leases. Let's see how long the tenants got, how much they paying, does it debt service, does it debt DSCR, all that kind of stuff like that. And I remember asking all that stuff, and you was checking all the boxes off, and I was like, let's go for it.
Right.
It is what it is. Okay, so you got the deal done. If you want to talk about that deal specifically, if you don't, you do kind of talk about what you want to talk about. But can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So, um, you talking about how long it took? So pretty much, I started the process in February.
Yeah.
Just closed July 1st.
Okay. So 4 months. Was that 3, 4 months? Three, four
Yeah.
months ish?
A
Yeah. So
long.
a lot of people like, oh man, I want something in 2 weeks. Hey man, no, no. I don't care how much money you got. You can go in there with 100% cash. It ain't gonna close that long. It's gonna take a long time.
It's a lot
So
of.
okay, yeah, but like, what about like so what you end up getting? You getting a commercial unit or what's up?
Yeah. So I got a commercial unit with 5 tenants, 2 daycares, um, one salon suites, and also a cafe. So it's 5 tenants and
Yeah.
one big building.
Yeah. So you get it day one, you got it on Friday, you cash flowing on Monday, man. That's the name of the game. You ain't gotta build it out. You already got tenants. And
Leases already to 2030 and 2031.
yeah, so 5-year leases, they're already ready, it's already cash flowing.
Cash flow.
And these people need to pay their rent to sustain their businesses. So, they're more likely going to pay you first because they know that they got to keep that lease going. And then in 5 or 6 years from now, you can renew the lease or you can just raise the prices because rent's going to go up, which
Yep.
is going to
Right.
improve your cap rates and improve your rate of return.
Yep. Or I
Okay.
could maybe sell it and use the equity to get something else.
All
So
right.
whatever. Many
So if
different.
you got to leave everybody with one nugget of knowledge after this whole process, what would that be?
Be consistent.
Be consistent.
Don't give up.
Yeah, because one thing I've learned too is I'll even kind of add on to that. Be consistent and execute, right? I don't know if y'all watching this on YouTube or wherever you watching it from. You got to go out there and you got to constantly learn, apply it, constantly be hitting the streets and seeing what's out there, talking to people, talking to all these type of these deals, and then when it's time to pull the trigger, you just got to go for it. Because
Right.
you're going to be scared because you've never done it before. This is a realm or a space that you're not familiar with. But that's how doing gets done. You have to do it. You're not going to own. multi-million dollars worth of properties, multiple businesses, multiple LLCs, all these investments if you just don't execute on it and do it. But
Add one more thing.
go ahead.
Uh, A lot of times everyone thinks they have to know everything. You're not gonna know everything. And you gotta be willing to take risks. If you don't take risks, you'll be broke your whole life. So you
Yeah,
gotta say, fuck it. You'd rather be 70 years old saying, I did try it and it didn't work instead of I wish I would have. So
yeah,
say that
yeah.
too.
You got to do it. It's going to be scary. You know what's crazy is that, and I'm gonna say this too. I even get scared at times. Not like I used to, but I have my times. Sometimes I look back and be like, dang, this is 3 million bucks. God dang, this is a lot of money. But once you kind of start like thinking of it as like this is the process that needs to get done to get to where the steps I need to get to, then it kind of like ease your mind. Or you need to start associating with and talking to people who've been through those type of situations, who have dealt with millions of dollars, right? So if I say $3 million is a lot, let's talk to a guy who does $30 million worth of deals. You know, the $40 million deal guy talks to the guys who done $100 million worth of deals. So you got to almost start thinking, that back to what we kind of said at the beginning. You need to start associating with and hanging with those type of individuals who are doing things at a high level, who have done things like this before. Because when they tell you, oh, I'm buying this property for millions of dollars, cool, let's go. Like, wow, this ain't nothing to them. This ain't nothing to you. No, it's not nothing to me because this is what we do. This is what I do. This is how it's done. And you're not going to get there until you start associating with this type of people and learning this type of stuff. But Mr. Antoine, thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. If anybody want to know more about me and his journey, click the link in the bio or come to the free training class and we can learn more about the process. This is Mr. Richard. I don't know where you're watching this from, maybe YouTube. Make sure you're following. Make sure you're subbing. If you're watching this on Instagram, make sure you're following. And if you have any questions, just DM me on social media and I can walk you through this process. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. DM me, you learn more, and maybe you can be sitting to the right, left of me. I don't know where it's at on the computer, to the right of me, and maybe we having your story. Thank you for your time, sir. Y'all have a good day.
Yeah.